How do you actually make the best video possible on YouTube? The answer to this question will be different from person to person, based on your audience, your niche, and the type of videos that you make, like if it's entertainment based, value based, or a tutorial type of video, but generally there are a couple of questions that I like to ask myself before I make a video, no matter what niche I'm in. The first thing that I ask myself is, what do my audience want to watch? And if I already have a video idea in mind, I rephrase that question to, is this video something my audience would want to watch? A lot of people confuse the YouTube algorithm and the audience, blaming the algorithm for absolutely everything, but the truth is, you can pretty much replace the word algorithm with audience. So instead of making videos for the algorithm, make videos for your audience. If your audience is happy and the people like the video, it will perform well. The second thing that I ask myself is, what am I trying to achieve with this video, and what is the viewer getting from watching it? As a viewer on YouTube, you generally want to get something out of watching a video, whether that is information, a tutorial on how to do something, entertainment to lighten up your day, whatever it is, the viewer is looking to get something back from the time they spend watching your video, and you need to make sure that your video is fulfilling that demand. The better you fulfill that demand, the better the viewer experience is, and the better the video will perform, because once again, you are making a good video that your audience likes. So if you're in the entertainment niche, you know that your audience is probably looking for a daily dose of entertainment, and you want to provide that to the best of your ability. With that being said, there are a couple of ground rules to follow for a typical video setup that will work in most niches, but once again, take this with a pinch of salt and make adjustments based on what your audience responds well with. So whenever I make a video, I like to think of it like a book. You have an introduction, the main book part itself, and the outro. Inside the main part, you can have several chapters with different content or different stories, but if we divide a book into 3 separate parts, we have the beginning, the middle, and the end. Let's start with the beginning, aka the introduction of your video. The introduction should be all about making the audience understand what the video is about and trying to capture their audience from the moment they click on your video. For this part, we can use Mr. Beast as an example, where he always makes sure to show what he is making and that he is making true on his words, that he is using in the title and the thumbnail. So if the title says that he's putting 1,000,000 Orbeez into a pool, the introduction to that video will be something like, we put 1,000,000 Orbeez into this pool.
This is 100 million Orbeez.
Are you sure? It looks kind of like it's 99,999,984.
Ow! And now we're gonna take these 100 million Orbeez and we're gonna put them on the tarps back here in the backyard.
Now by putting a sentence like this into the introduction, you now reassure the viewers that they are getting what they clicked on, and they are getting what they expect, and they know exactly what to expect moving forwards. The introduction should be as quick and concise as possible. You need to explain what the video is about, what the viewers should expect, and give them a reason to keep on watching the video, aka capturing their attention. Next up then, the middle part. This is where the main content should be, so the actual video idea itself, and you should be using this part to build up to the punchline, while also providing additional value along the way. For example, a video titled "How to Make Better Videos on YouTube" could easily be done in 10 seconds by saying one sentence, which is "listen to feedback and improve." But I want to give more in-depth information than just that, and I'm using the main part of this video to give as much information as possible. Another example of this is, let's say you are in the entertainment niche and your video is titled something like "I boxed the strongest man in the world," and that would be your punchline of that video. Now while building up to that punchline, you could also, for example, record and talk about your training sessions, your sparring sessions, crack a few jokes, and even introduce some subplots within your story, like maybe talk about the strongest man in the world and a little bit about his story as well and his fight. It is your job to make the build up almost just as entertaining as the punchline itself, just like it's my job to try to make this video as informational as possible. And lastly, the outro. This should really be as short as possible, because the second the audience start feeling the outro vibe, so start feeling like the video is over, they will now click off without listening to your whole goodbye speech, and if they click away before the video is over, that will hurt your average view duration, which also hurts the video's performance over time. Plus you want to respect the viewers and the audience's time by not leaving any dead space in your videos. Personally, I would say keep the outro as short as possible, preferably 30 seconds or less, comments, and the lower you can go, the better it is. The actual outro itself could also contain a call to action, like if you're selling a product, this is where you can plug that, and if you have a Discord server, this is where you can plug that as well, or if you want your audience to leave a specific comment in the comment section, this is once again the perfect time to do that as well. Stick with one call to action per video, as that will make the audience a lot more likely to actually do that action itself. So now that we have covered video structure, I want to go all the way back to the simple question of how to make better videos on YouTube, which is simple on paper, but gets more complicated the more you dive into it. So you basically open one door to find two brand new doors, and every time you open a door, a new one is revealed. With that being said, here's some helpful advice that has really helped me along the way. First up, listen to feedback, but know the difference between constructive criticism and people being a straight up idiot. This is YouTube after all, and anyone can leave any comment they want on your YouTube videos, so know how to look at the comments and filter out useful feedback from useless garbage. Next up, keeping up with the feedback loop, I wanted to loop this all the way back to my first video on this channel, where I mentioned sending your videos to some of your friends and ask for genuine feedback, as this is where you will get the most real and genuine feedback from real friends on what to improve, as long as your friend group is not full of yes men. Now next up, use the YouTube analytics to your advantage. By using these analytics, you can literally find out what your video is lacking and then improve on that part. If your click-through rate is low, this can indicate that you might need to work on your title and thumbnails to make them even more captivating, but it could also simply be an indicator that YouTube is pushing your content to a broader audience, and therefore the click-through rate goes down as a result. But if your views are stagnant and the click-through rate is down, that usually is a sign of weak thumbnails and / titles. If your average view duration is down and you need to work on your video itself, look at the structure where viewers fall off and how you can improve the overall viewer experience. And YouTube has a really great tool here where you can dive deep into each video's analytics to find out exactly where viewers stopped watching the video. So if you see a big dip at some point, try to implement some strategies to reduce that fall off in future videos. This is a strategy used by big YouTubers like MrBeast and several others who have noticed that over 20% of people who click off videos click off them in the first 15 seconds of that video, so you really need to make sure to give your viewers an incentive to watch your videos as soon as possible to avoid that fall off. Now by going into the YouTube analytics of each video, you can see for yourself how many of your viewers, or how big of a percent of your viewers, typically click off your videos in the first 20 seconds. Now if you have any other YouTuber advice that you want to share, put them in the comment section down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more helpful videos. In the meanwhile, I highly recommend you also watch this other video on the screen right now for more helpful advice along your YouTube journey, specifically tailored to starting a YouTube channel.